Welcome back. This is Rich again, back for an exclusive YouTube video blog. Today's YouTube video blog is about the NBA on NBC. Tell you about the history about that and tell you what's going to happen if it comes back, which is a good possibility. But first, these important messages. Don't forget to listen to Crystal's Time Machine each and every Friday and Saturday night from 9 to 11 p.m. on WCAP 980, where everybody gets it. If you can't get the show live, listen to the podcast exclusively on archive.org. Goes back to October 2015. Follow Crystal on Twitter, Crystal Amy John, and Machine Crystal. Follow her on Instagram at Crystal Johnson. Follow her on Facebook, the official Crystal Time Machine Facebook page, the official Crystal Time Machine group page and game show fan page. And follow Crystal on YouTube at Crystal Johnson. One exclusive video a week. Follow me on Twitter at Chewy7. Follow me on Instagram at Rich Sarasol. Follow me on YouTube at Rich Sarasol. One exclusive video a week. Two exclusive videos a week. And say hello to Broadway Pizza, the official sponsor of Crystal's Time Machine. And if you say the promo code Crystal's Time Machine, $2 off your meal. So that's pretty good, okay? And now on to the feature presentation. My next subject is about the NBA on NBC. The NBA on NBC ran from November 3rd, 1990 through June 12th, 2002. In November of 1989, NBC Sports bought the over-the-air network rights of the NBA from CBS, which CBS had for 17 years, and this is at the time NBC Sports lost MLB rights to CBS. They shared it with ABC. And the NBA on NBC was a perfect marriage of a sports league and a sports network. And the NBA on NBC had its lead announcers Marv Albert and Mike Fratello as the czar of the telestrator, and also its number two broadcasting team. It was Dick Enberg. Oh my! Steve Snapper Jones. And at NBA Showtime, a half-hour pregame show, which was hosted by Bob Costas. In the studio, they had Dr. J. Julius Irving and Bill Walton, and also Peter Vesey as an NBA insider. The first year they had Pat Riley on NBA Showtime, but he left to join the New York Knicks as head coach. Usually, the NBA on NBC would start its broadcast year on Christmas Day, had a doubleheader, and then they would start the Sunday game of the week after the NFL season. Sometimes they would have a doubleheader, and they would also have the NBA All-Star Game and weekend coverage of the playoffs from the first round to the NBA Final, both Saturday and Sunday. Back then, the first round of the NBA playoffs was a best of 5. It didn't become a best of 7 until 2003 when the NBA left NBC. So they missed out on potential Game 7s in the first round. And usually the teams that appeared most on the NBA on NBC during its heyday for games were the Chicago Bulls, naturally, because they had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, later Dennis Rodman, the LA Lakers because of Magic Johnson, eventually um, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, the Houston Rockets because they had Hakeem Olajuwon during his prime, and Portland Trail Blazers, Clyde Drexler, and also the 76ers with Allen Iverson. And also, the from time to time, they had NBA games in prime time for NBC. They didn't do too much regional coverage of the NBA on NBC. Oh, maybe once in a while. And usually the NBA Finals, when it was on NBC, either had the Chicago Bulls, Los Angeles Lakers, or New York Knicks. Um, 11 out of 12 years, they were either represented by LA, Chicago, and New York. The only time was in 1995 when the Houston Rockets faced off against the Orlando Magic. That's when they had Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. And for years, the NBA had a kids show during the season on Saturday mornings called NBA Inside Stuff, originally hosted by Willow Bay and Ahmad Rashad, who also hosted some feature reporting for the NBA on NBC. Some other broadcasters who appeared on the NBA on NBC included Greg Gumbel, Tom Hammond, Mike Breen, Hannah Storm, and a few Dan Hicks, and a few others. And every 4 years, the NBA on NBC will renewed for bigger money. And the NBA on NBC was very profitable into their third contract in 1999. That's when they lost money. Marv Albert had to step aside for a couple of years as lead NBA on NBC play-by-play announcer because of he was involved in a sex scandal. So Bob Costas replaced him for 3 years, but Bob was better suited as host and play-by-play. Hannah Storm took over as host of NBA Showtime, and also like Isaiah Thomas and Doug Collins was the lead commentators. Marv Albert returned in 2000 to take that place. And when the new NBA on NBC contract happened from 1998-99 season through 2001-2002, it had more triple headers during the season on Sundays, which bled into prime time. And it was losing a lot of money for NBC, and this is when NBC was cutting back on its sports programming. They lost the NFL in 1998 and Major League Baseball in 2000. And with NBA losing big time money on NBC, the next TV contract would have been mostly cable games. And back then, the only cable outlets that NBC had were CNBC and MSNBC. They at this time they didn't merge with Universal or Comcast because that was years away and that was not on NBC's radar at the time. And when NBC tried to negotiate a new television contract for the for NBC. They just passed on it because it didn't make sense, viable. Plus, they were going to lose most of their games. So ESPN ABC scooped up on that package, and basically they only had 15 games on ABC, usually Christmas games and Sunday afternoon games scattered throughout the second half of the year, and select playoff games, and they only showed the NBA Finals. The All-Star game went to TNT, and it was a very sad day when the NBA on NBC left, because that was probably one of the most famous television partners that the NBA ever had, because they had the theme song "Round Ball Rock" by John Test, which did and now there's been lots of reports that NBC is getting back into the NBA business. They're finalizing a new 10-year contract, which NBC will be getting the B package, meaning that they'll get a basketball night in America after the NFL season. Also, I heard the NBA All-Star game and select playoff games, including alternating every other year with Amazon with our conference finals, but no NBA finals. That's going to ESPN, ABC, which that's kind of a bummer. I thought for sure that Adam Silver was going to alternate the new television package with the NBA finals. One year goes to ABC, ESPN, and the next year NBC, but it's not for the case. And when the NBA on NBC comes back, which is most likely going to happen, Round Ball Rock will return, but with a modernized version, kind of a version that would be for the 2020s. And most likely, the lead play-by-play announcer will be Noah Eagle, but you can't out maybe Mike Tirico doing some games, or Dan Hicks. And the studio will probably be Maria Taylor, or unless they get rumored inside the NBA, which will be probably produced by Charles Barkley's production company. So that's the history of the NBA on NBC. It's maybe a 95% chance it returns in winter of 2006. That's about it on that. I'll be back YouTube with another exclusive video blog later on this week. Thank you for all your support. Bye.